So one day I'm like, Sue, get me a Diet Coke. I'll time you. She comes back lightning fast. And by the way, you're welcome. This is probably why you're such a great athlete. Had this gone on longer, you would have been even faster.
I'm already basking in my own glow. Keep going.
I get the drink. I take a sip and I was like, immediately. I was like, what is in this? She had put soap in my soda.
Never timed me again. Welcome back, everybody. We are so excited for this episode. We're calling it our first book club meeting.
Let's go. We are going to talk a little bit about our first pick. We can do hard things. And we have a very special guest.
My sister.
The Jen Bird, owner of Athena Books. She is the brainchild of our book club and has a special giveaway to announce for our listeners. We're very excited to talk to her. I mean, we talk to Jen every day when she's on her exercise bike in the morning. Honestly, this is you guys. This is the Birds. Doing 5 things at once, all at level 100 out of 100. It's like amazing. So we actually can't wait to bring what is normally our breakfast conversation on her bike.
It is a life hack. Very quickly, her bike in the kitchen is a life hack. I wouldn't do it per se.
Oh,
but it has hacked her life. She exercises and is just in the kitchen doing stuff.
Does stuff. It's amazing.
Like FaceTime us.
Yeah, and usually FaceTime us and get some FaceTime with her. Get some pedals in. We see the girls. We're so excited to bring you Jen Bird. She's so smart, so thoughtful. She's been recommending us books for a long time, and we're pumped to have the brainchild of Athena on the show. I'm Megan Rapinoe.
And I'm Sue Bird. This is A Touch More. Let's get into it. For the check-in, we're just going to keep talking about this book club. Why did you want to start a book club?
Well, Jen actually, I'd love to say reignited, but I think it's just ignited. My
love for reading.
Yeah, my late in life love for reading. She started, I think the first book she recommended to me was Demon Copperhead. And I was like, well, I'm taking literally every single one of your recommendations from here forth. Incredible book by Barbara Kingsolver. Everyone should read it. It's amazing. So that was a few years ago whenever it came out. Obviously, Jen gets the advanced reader copies because she owns a bookstore. And so she's just been recommending books to us. It's been like such a joy. It's been such an interesting thing for all of us to talk about. We've taken it to our friends. We've gone on vacations and done book clubs and the whole thing. It's also just like a really cool way, I think, to like do this other thing. We obviously are in sports. We talk about sports a lot. We talk about politics a lot. We talk about the intersection of everything. And this is just like a little life pleasure that we get to come at a lot of these issues from a different perspective in a different way. So I have really enjoyed getting these recommendations from Jen. I'm like, you're amazing at this. We need to scale you via the podcast. And I feel like more people need to have access to Jen Bird and Athena Books. So that's why I want to start it. What about you?
I mean, honestly, all the same reasons. I think Jen, my whole life, has been an excellent book recommender. She just really, really gets it. My favorite thing now that she owns a bookstore and does get all these advanced copies is when and she did this with Demon Copperhead. She was like, read this, it's going to be book of the year. And it was like January 5th. I was like, you already know that? Read this. It's going to be book of the year. So it's always fun. It's really fun for me to see her in her element.
Mm-hmm.
She's absolutely killing it as a bookstore owner. I don't know, I can't wait to ask her when the hell she finds time to read all these books.
When
it's so impressive. But something else you said that I love about books is nowadays it's nice to have an escape. I think live sports can be that escape. I think watching sports on TV can be that escape. So can movies, so can music, like experiences. But there's not that many things that when you're just with people who aren't necessarily your closest friends. Like I know for me, if I sit down to get my hair done, I'm like, what are you watching? What are you listening to? What are you recommending? And what I love about the book club now, it's for me, it's going to be like, oh, what are you reading?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just another touch point, I think, that you can connect with people on.
Yeah.
A really nice, easy way. So that's what makes me most excited. We're going to be able to connect to our listeners via this book club. So that's why I'm excited. All right. So the first book was We Can Do Hard Things by Glennon Doyle, Abby Wambach, and Amanda Doyle. Was there like a significance? I know Jen was just really excited, and we'll ask her and she'll explain, why she wanted that book. But was there significance for you? Like, why this book?
I think that this book, we love their podcast, big fans of what they're doing. I feel like it's such a touch point for so many people, no matter where you are in your life or what you're going through. There's an episode of their podcast that is for you. They talk to the most interesting people. They're all really open and vulnerable and like willing to talk about stuff. I love this book mostly because it's like a coffee table book. It's something that you can pick up at any time with anyone. At any point in your life. It's beautiful, so it can just sit on your coffee table like it does ours. But I love that it just has a little bit of something for everyone. And things are hard right now. And it's a confusing time and a scary time and an overwhelming time. And some people are just not okay. And I feel like you can pick up this book and find a passage or find a page or a chapter or something someone said that can really resonate with you. And I feel like it's kind of an evergreen book. So I feel like it was a good one that I think our listeners, as we get into more topics in our book clubs and different types of books, this is something that you can like always go back to. And it's kind of like a really cool foundational thing for what we're trying to do with our book club.
Yeah. On that note, there was a comment from YouTube from when we had them on the show, got to talk to them about the book. And it reads, really appreciate Glennon admitting that she is not okay, which in turn allowed some of us to acknowledge that we too are not okay. The state of America is crashing down by the minute and we are just, quote, carrying on. But we can't ignore or disregard the overwhelming hate that is thriving around us. So to your point, it does. This book has a really wonderful way, I think, of opening up people, bringing topics up that can be uncomfortable or maybe feel like faux pas to talk about. And it just allows you. It gives permission for that. There's also a voicemail that was left for us that we're going to take a listen to.
I just wanted to say that ultimately when I think about what resonates most with me as I flip through all my dog-eared pages, I think about all the advice swirling around freedom and how even just reading these words, I can feel some weight lifting off my shoulders. Some of my favorite new perspectives are the ideas that I can be free by letting go of my need to be the good guy. I can be free by throwing away the prescribed menu. I can be free by releasing what was supposed to be. I can be free by knowing I don't have to do anything to earn love and greatness, that I'm the acorn destined to be none other than the oak. And that I can be free by reappointing myself as I disappoint others.
Yeah, that part.
That's why this book got picked number 1.
Yes.
That's why it's the first pick.
And now for a very special guest. She is the owner of Athena Books, mom to our nieces.
Yes.
And our partner in a Touch More book club, and also my sister. Please welcome Jen Bird. Hey, Jen.
Hello.
Welcome to the
Hi,
show.
ladies. Thank you. Thanks
The
for
most
having
special guest.
The most special guest.
The first and only family member we've had on the show.
That's
Oh,
true.
wow.
Oh, your mom is going to be so jealous.
Oh, she's
Our mom is also.
Austin, going to be devastated. The niece is going to be devastated.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Alex and Zoe are going to be
Nancy's
devastated.
devastated.
Nancy's devastated. Alex and Zoe are going to be devastated, and they're going to act like they want to come on. But then what's really going to happen? Jen, what's really going to happen?
I can't say anything bad about it.
They are going to, by the way, they listen.
They're going to be amazing if they came on.
No,
That's
they're
what
going to
would
chicken
happen.
out.
Yeah.
They're going to chicken out.
They might get a little shy.
We're always like,
They
come
talk
on
a big
the
game.
show. Come on the show. Okay, we're obviously going to get into why you decided to open a bookstore. But first, I'm going to get into, did you always want to be a business owner? Because owning a bookstore and being a business owner, two very different things. So like, have you always wanted to do that?
So I don't know if I always wanted to be a business owner, but I definitely remember from a young age wanting to co-brand with Sue. My dad, our dad used to own racehorses. This is something he dabbled in. And I remember at a young age thinking, Dad, you got to buy a racehorse and name it Genesue.
This
So
is
from
her
a young
big-
age.
I love like, you are so proud of yourself.
And
I was
such
just-
a unique name, Genesue.
I was just along for the ride. I was
Yeah.
I'm obviously 5 years younger, along for the ride. I was just like, yeah, I guess, Genesue it is. I had no
love
say.
I
What are
loved
we
it.
creating
It never
that we
happened,
can
by the way.
name Genesee?
It never happened. You were
We-
obsessed.
We have to think about this. But as far as being a business owner, I don't know if I thought about it that way, but our dad basically had his own business and my mom loved her job. And then I watched Sue loving her job and I knew I wanted to love my job. And then after I was a lawyer for a short time, I started doing recruiting. And as a recruiter, that's when I opened up my first business. And I found that I love being a business owner. I love being my own boss, setting my own time. There are certain stresses that come with it, but I actually have come to enjoy it. And so that skill set transferred over to the bookstore, but I do like owning a business.
Okay, so now tell us why a bookstore.
So the bookstore, as you know, came out of the pandemic. As soon as things shut down, and you guys were here in Greenwich too,
Yeah.
I immediately was like, what am I going to do with these girls? They were 6 and 4 at the time. And so I was always a big reader growing up. So the first thing, and the girls are great readers too, thankfully. So the first thing I did was like books. We need books. Zoe, the older one, was reading on her own. So I got her everything and everything having to do with Greek mythology. Alex, I was reading to, so I just picked books I liked. So we were reading a ton. And then I also started to realize, or I knew this already, but just the importance of like your neighbors and your community. So there were a lot of things bubbling up. And then we went to, when things started to open up a bit, we started going to different towns and visiting bookstores. And it was on one of those trips that I said to my husband, like, oh, why don't we open a bookstore? Because we live in this cute little town. There hasn't been a bookstore for a while. And Odysseus said, oh, I always wanted to work at a bookstore. Just like that. So as soon as he said that, I was like, bam, we're going to do this. And then Sue, I actually called Dad. He was my next call. I literally called Dad because I've sometimes looked to him for financial advice. And I was like, Dad, do you think it makes sense financially? Can I open a bookstore? And he was like, yeah. Even if you lose money, it's a great tax deduction. I think you have to like know my dad.
Welcome to our childhood.
Yeah. So I was like, great, we're going to do this. And then I called a real estate agent and we looked at 2 spaces in our little town, Old Greenwich. And one of them was just beautiful. I mean, it used to be a religious store. And the architecture, it was a lot darker than it is now, but the architecture was beautiful. There was this big circle in the middle. And we looked at it and we thought, wow, this could be a little bit more than just a bookstore. This could be like a gathering place for the community. And so that's sort of what inspired us. But it was serendipitous in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, we named it Athena Books after the Greek goddess of wisdom. My husband is Greek. I have 2 girls. I had you ladies in mind as well. Powerful female figure. So yeah, we were off and running.
And you made it happen. The supercomputer was put to a bookstore. That's what I always say about your guys' brains and your dad's, for sure. The amount of
Our brains
times
are busy.
that you guys call your dad, but it's not just like, it's not a crutch. It's not like, oh, let me call my dad because like I don't know what to do. It's just like your dad consumes, and honestly, all 3 of you consume knowledge and information at a rate and pace that I've had to get comfortable being like, you know what? I don't do that. And that's okay. I can't tell you the capacity that you have to, whatever you're doing 5 other things at the same time. So it's like you were already like a lawyer and doing your recruiting business and like having kids and doing all the things you're doing. And then you're like, you know what? I don't know. I'm going to do like, I got some time.
It's funny because our dad does just have, I don't even know, a crazy endless amount of knowledge about things. It's just like all kinds of things. I can't tell you how many times I text him. I don't go to him for advice per se, but I will go, hey, Dad, random question. In 1930, what was the... and he'll like have an answer right away. But Megan, you do bring up the consumption of it all.
Yeah.
Jen, can you tell us, like, if you had to put a number on the amount of books you read in a week, in a month? I mean, I don't know. So you're talking about big brains. This one over here, I don't know when you find the time to read all the
Middle
books.
of the night.
Because you,
in the witching hours, which all 3 of you guys do.
Perimenopause.
Because you are a great book recommender.
Yeah.
You do amazing recommendations. But I'm always
Thank
like,
you.
when the hell did she read this?
I don't even know. Literally in the middle of the night sometimes. I don't know.
So how many a week? What are we looking at
Well,
here?
it's funny. I actually know this because I set my goals on Goodreads. Are you ladies on Goodreads? You got to get on there.
I'm on there and I follow you, but I don't really like actively go on there.
I think the target's around 75. I probably read like 80 books a year, which I know doesn't
I was
sound
like,
like a
wait.
ton.
That
I don't
does
know.
sound like a ton.
That
There's
sounds-
only 300.
I think I read like 3 last year.
How many is that a month? 6 a month? Something like that.
What was the first
so,
book you ever recommended for Sue?
Well, this is a good question. What's the first book I recommended that Sue actually read or that I actually recommended?
I've actually read a lot of the books you've recommended through the years.
She has. No, you
Through the
have.
years.
Oh,
I
legit.
think though, but the
Like
first
that one David Sedaris book, Me Talk Pretty One Day. You recommended
that's a
that. We're
great
going
one.
way
I
back.
love that. That is way back.
But in your bookstore owner era.
Okay,
Yeah.
bookstore owner era. I like that.
There's one.
Jen's pick.
Yeah, the first one then was The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which was amazing all around. It actually turned out to that this was right before I opened the store, but it turned out to be by far the top seller in the store, and just checked all the boxes as far as like mystery, romance,
Rightfully
intrigue.
so.
I bet Sue read that in one sitting.
I did. You
Yeah.
were there.
Yeah.
And what'd you do? You were staring at me.
I bet all those Old Greenwich moms read it in the first setting too.
I bet they did.
I bet they did.
I bet they did.
The whole town
The
read
minute
that
I was
book.
reading it, we were on a vacation and I read it I remember I finished it on the plane ride home. I read it fast. We're talking
Yeah.
like 2 days.
Yeah.
And you were looking at me like I was crazy. And I was like, read this. Trust me. Next thing I know,
and I was like,
next thing I know, you're crying, you're laughing. Actually, I don't even know if you were laughing, but you were crying.
absolutely loved it.
Awesome.
For sure. It is a wonderful book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one of you first had the idea for the book club?
Jen Bird wanted a baby bird book club. That was the name.
Oh,
We should do a book club.
Between
Baby bird.
two birds.
Yeah, between two birds. That was another idea. Oh no, yes, between two birds was the initial
Since
thought, and then it was, oh, do we do one for kids? Baby bird.
Oh,
club.
Baby Bird.
Which, you
That's
know,
a good one too.
Nobody take that. This still might happen.
yeah. Well, trademark it.
But
Somebody
I do
trademark
know,
it.
I think it sort of emerged though, right? It was like I was recommending books to you. Then we went on a trip with our friends. We sort of recommending to them. They started wanting to talk about books. We went on another trip and we talked about All Fours, which was a fun one.
Yep.
And The Wedding People. And then you were the one at some point who said you and Megan sort of set the intention of wanting to read more and talk more about books in the new year. And then it kind of sort of officially came into being after that. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did
combination.
love. You mentioned we've gone on vacation together. Our friends have come. We've sort of like had this group chat going. It just, there's all these articles about the death of the third space or whatever. But it has like just created this sense of community just outside of anything other than like reading for pleasure. And then of course you're going to like put life and culture into it. But what have you found in the bookstore? You have authors that come and speak or events. What have you found that it's done for your community inside the bookstore and even your family in general, because they're there all the time?
Yeah. I mean, what I think it's done, what I hope it's done, I mean, the tagline is Athena Books, a gathering place. And it really is in a great spot, like literally right in the middle of our downtown. It's a sweet little community. And I think it has become that. I think it's become a gathering place and a source of inspiration. Like when I'm in the store, I run into at least 5, 6, 7 people I know. I see other people running into each other. I see customers recommending books to each other, which I love. I hear people tell me about the store. And what I love about it is that I feel like it's taken on a life of its own. Like people don't even know my connection to the store and they're having their own experience of it. So I think it's just become this place where people can get together, find something they may not have been thinking about. And the way we set it up too, it's like very open and airy, as you know, there's a good seating area. So I think it's really just become a place where you can go meet up with some people, get a little inspiration, find that perfect book. We give lots of recommendations. So I think it's been like a nice, bringing people together space.
Yeah. Speaking of recommendations, you recommended We Can Do Hard Things for our first book for our book club. You had a lot of opinions as to why that needed to be our first book. And I want you to share them with everybody. Why was that the perfect book for us to pick?
Well, it's funny. I had other ideas too, but this one ended up being perfect. I'd written like a 10-page document of ideas, but but this one I was particularly excited about because I read all of Abby's and Glennon's books and love them all. And I heard that they had a book coming out. I think it was back in December because as the bookstore owners, we get a heads up on what's coming out. We get to read. They're called ARCs, the advanced reader copies. And so I knew it was coming out. And then obviously, I'm a fan, like love their podcast. And I know you two have been on their show. And then I read the book and I was like, oh, this is interesting. And what I love about it is it speaks to kind of all people at all stages of life. Like there's questions I was asking myself in my 20s and 30s, and then questions I'm asking myself now about parenting and how to love your partner. And so it just sort of all came together as far as like a book that I thought would be perfect for you guys to start with and then kind of see where it takes us.
Yeah, we
What
loved
do you
it.
think?
It was a great pick.
Yeah, I actually
it.
do love it as kind of the like kickoff to this little book club because it's like a coffee table book for life. It first of all is beautiful visually, like just the colors they chose are gorgeous. It's on our coffee table. That Alex said was for small people because it's only this far off of the ground. And I'm like, it's aesthetically pleasing, Alex. Don't worry about the functionality, okay?
It's amazing.
They just burn us all the time. But I do love that it's a book that people, as you just said, can keep going back to in whatever phase of life. You don't have to sit down and read it front to back. It's really not that kind of book. It's a go back to over coffee or tea or late at night or with friends or family or with your partner or whatever it may be. So I loved it as kind of a thing that our first readers can like keep going back to.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a foundation for.
Yeah, it's not intimidating because you can skip around, like Megan just said, pick it up, put it down, find what connects. That's what I was doing as I read. It's not, to your point, Jen, there's certain parts of like parenting isn't going to hit for me in the same way as it's going to hit for you, of course, you know, not that I didn't read those parts, but you can kind of skim, find what speaks to you, and then you're really going to get a peek into, for me, it's like getting a peek into what other people are going through. And for me personally, that's a connecting point that always resonates. Like, oh, somebody else is experiencing this. Totally. Oh, this is their thought on it. Oh, I never thought of it that way. I loved that part. So it really was literally the perfect pick. First book club. Appreciate you.
No, it's when I was listening to Glennon speak about it too, and she talked about books, stories being like windows into the soul. She's like, books matter. These stories matter. And I was like, yeah, it's like when you read, you really learn about other people's lives and the way they see the world. And she talked about how that sort of, you realize the human experience is a universal experience. And when you realize that, you can affect change. And I was like, yeah. Books for democracy.
I know there was
that's why they're trying to
that
ban them
too, right?
Yeah.
I know.
Jen, I know there was another part you really liked when Abby was kind of talking about her kids and how they just don't give a shit who she is and what she's done. And that is our experience with the girls.
Yeah.
It's like literally don't give a shit.
They're like, have you ever been to the Olympics?
No, you're like, we're like, search me up. Search me up.
I know. Oh, I
they
like
do
that.
it to you so bad.
Search me up.
I mean, both. But they're like, do you know Roosevelt? Do you know
you know what? You know how I get them though.
Yeah.
Oh, do you know Paige Beckers? I'm like, yeah. You want to FaceTime her? No. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, FaceTime her right now. Just pull her right up.
So cute.
It is amazing to see them get so excited about Paige Beckers, for example, or like any of the young players. And I'm like, you have like the most famous ones, like right here, the most accomplished.
They don't care about us.
They don't care
about we are nothing to them.
Either.
Yeah.
They don't care about me either.
They don't.
Alex's response was, I told her yesterday, I was like, oh, I'm going to record the podcast with Aunt Sue. She's like, where am I going to be? What? Like she thought I was going to be leaving or something. Where am I going to be?
Yeah.
And then I told her this morning.
What about me?
Yeah. She's like, and then this
I know,
morning,
we were on
she's
FaceTime.
Like,
she muted it. I was like, why'd you mute it? I had to tell mom something.
Yeah.
And this is what it was.
Yeah. What about me? Where am I going to be? And then this morning I was like, oh, wish me luck. She said, don't forget to mention me. Like, okay.
They do listen.
Oh,
it is adorable. Zoe, after every Bird's Eye View episode, has texted me.
She's the best.
I listened to the one with Jackie Young. I listened to the one. I'm like, did you learn anything? She goes, kinda. Can you elaborate?
No, she takes it all in. She takes it in.
Yeah,
it's so sweet. She listens with Odysseus in the car.
Yeah, it's
to your
really
podcast.
Cute. It's really cute.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing another book this fall, but until then, can you give us some of your like summer reads? What are you looking at for now?
I got so many, but I have three top picks. All right, the first one, drum roll, The Names by Florence Knapp. Megan, you read this one, right?
I started it. I'm like, I'm like 25% in. I'll get back to it.
I loved it.
I read in waves.
My mom, she loved it. She's giving it to her book club.
I do love how it's written. It is very unique in how it's written. Yeah, the mechanism is great. I love this particular mechanism.
I can give a little preview. It starts out with this woman. She just had a baby. She lives in London and she has to go to get the baby's name registered. And her husband, who you know from the beginning is not a good guy, a bit of a control freak, just that guy, says to her like, okay, make sure you get the baby named after me. Gordon is his name. Mm-hmm. And on her way there, she's walking with her 9-year-old daughter. She says to her daughter like, oh, what would you name the baby? And she goes, Bear. And then the woman thinks to herself, gosh, what would I name the baby if I had my choice? And it was Julian. And then what happens is the most amazing thing. The story splits. And then it's 3 stories told in parallel as if the boy had been named one of each of those 3 names. And it traces his life over 35 years. It kind of goes back and forth between the different storylines. And it's just incredible. It begs the question, like, what's in a name, right? Like, how does that impact your life? But really, in this case, like, it was the husband's reaction to each of the names that set, a course of events for each storyline. And it was about that and kind of the ripple effects of domestic violence, a little nature versus nurture. And then also just like the unexpected things that happen in life, right? Like world events or like random acts. And it was just so incredibly beautiful. I loved it.
I loved it.
Now, do you guys all see why she's such a great book? I mean, sold.
Yeah.
I was already sold, but sold.
Yeah.
Okay, what else you got for us?
The next one, actually, this comes full circle. Taylor Jenkins Reid just came out with her newest book. It's called Atmosphere, which, by the way, if you haven't read her last one, too, Carrie Soto is back. It's about a retired female athlete, a tennis player, who comes out of retirement to protect her record against the young upstart. But anyway, that was last year. Now we're coming to this year. Her new book is called Atmosphere, and it's historical fiction, which is funny to say because it takes place in the 1980s when we were alive.
Oh my God, that's where we are.
But it's historical fiction.
Tough.
Love the 80s. And it takes place in like the 80s space race at a time when NASA was inviting women to apply for the first time to become astronauts. And it focuses on this one character, Joan Goodwin, and her fight to kind of get into the program. And then when she's there to kind of, make a name for herself. And there's a little bit of a love story, little LGBTQ love story in there.
Happy Pride, everybody.
Happy Pride, everybody. From
And it's
the Ally Jen.
That's right. And I also found it was great because it reminds you too, like back in that time, not too long ago, like those relationships were not allowed. And then there's also, this is my favorite part in the very beginning. I always want to say it's like, Houston, we have a problem. She's in like mission control. And there's actually a problem with this space flight that she's like coordinating. So there's that kind of element too. But anyway, it's basically a story about like breaking barriers in career and love. And it's great. You guys should read it.
Love it. Yeah.
Is there the third?
Okay, last one. It's like
to
a
us.
page turner. This one's just like a page turner. It's called Everyone is Lying to You by Joe Piazza. This one's coming out in July, so you have to pre-order it. But it's basically it's a trad wife thriller, which, by the way, I did not know what trad wife is. I had to search it up. Basically, a trad wife is a traditional wife. So it's about this woman who's she's the main character. She lives out west. She lives on a farm with 6 children, and she makes her own food, homeschools the kids, but she's also like a major social media influencer and has like over 3 million followers. So this trad wife is really like a media tycoon.
Yeah.
But anyway, it starts out with a murder. Her husband's murdered. And from the very beginning, you're like, who did it? Why'd they do it? But the other part that's so fun about it, it's like a behind the scenes look at these influencers who come across as so perfect. It's a lot messier behind the scenes. But then there's also this irony that like, they're the trad wives, but they're basically making like a bajillion dollars and like running their households, making more than their husbands. So I like love that element too. They're pretty badass.
Yeah. And people can actually win all of these books.
Oh, yes. We're doing a raffle.
You're doing a raffle. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So the raffle is
tell the people how they can win these books.
Instagram post. You got to follow A Touch More and Athena Books. That's at Athena Books OG. Tag 3 friends, write a little comment, tag 3 friends, and then you can enter into the raffle. And then we'll send you those books and maybe a little note from Sue and Megan.
Absolutely.
Sounds
so
amazing.
that is how you can enter to win. So yeah.
All right. So Jen, before we've got some games. I know Megan has something up her sleeve over there.
I love a good game.
So before we get to that, why don't you tell everybody the best way to support independent bookstores or
So
booksellers?
the best way to support independent bookstores is to, first of all, if you have a local bookstore, go to your local bookstore, ask for recommendations, buy books there. It's not a huge moneymaker, the business, so every dollar counts. If you can't get to your store, you can go online to bookshop.org, which is this incredible site. If you choose a store to support and buy books to the site, the proceeds get directed to that store. So choose Athena Books if you like, or if not, your local bookstore. You can also do, and that's for ebooks too. You can read the ebooks on your phone or iPad. And then for audiobooks, there's Libro.fm. Same thing. You can choose your local bookstore. The proceeds goes to them. Both of these are great websites, great apps. You can follow us, Athena Books OG. Somebody once asked me, does the OG stand for Original Gangster?
Sure does.
And I was like, it stands for Old Greenwich, which like couldn't be any further from like Original Gangster. But if it helps you remember, great.
Listen, if you ever open other stores, it will be the OG.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, that's true. I like
You're
that.
the OG bird.
Now my
Yeah,
wheels
you are the OG
turning.
bird. The OG. I was going to say,
Yeah.
first of her name, Jenna Sue.
Yeah, the OG Geneseo.
I was so proud, by the way, when Alex came up with something. She's like, yeah, we can call our family Jazz for Jen, Alex, and Zoe. I was like, yeah. But then we had to switch it to Joe's to kind of include Odysseus.
Yeah, it was like,
right now I was like, where's the O?
in there?
But yeah.
He got left out.
So yeah, those are ways you can support your store, and it really makes a difference. And hopefully you'll be inspired and delighted when you go to your local store. If you go on our website, you can see all of our recommendations and things like that.
We have been there a number of times, and it really is like just such a simple delight. It's like, it's beautiful in there. You've done such an amazing job, but we've gone to a couple events there. We've done a couple events there. We've seen the girls just in and out of there. We see how people interact in there. And it really is like just such a delight and such a beautiful space. So everybody, whether it's Athena in OG or wherever you get your local books, tap in. Before we get to the games, I just can't pass up this opportunity. Do you have any embarrassing or funny, but I'm more interested in the embarrassing stories of Sue as a kid? Or
That's
just
funny.
any time?
I was an embarrassing kid, so she's got a lot to pull from.
I know.
Yeah, you got a little
I was
weird.
a little weirdo.
You got a little weird stuff.
What had that I used to wear a bathing suit under all my clothes for like 10 years?
Oh my God. And
Is
you
that
went
weird?
through this stage
Is that weird?
where you just would only wear very tight clothes.
Yeah, and then I
Like,
landed
they
on the
had
bathing
to be
suit. I was like,
super
can't get tighter than that.
Can't get tighter than that.
Yeah, my
That was
shoes would be
amazing.
like so tight.
Oh, like cinched?
Yeah.
But it all makes sense now because I'm watching my two girls, like Zoe at one point went through a phase. She would wear one dress only. And
Right,
Alex,
we're
as you
familiar.
know, with her blue
She's-
and white sweater.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I think my favorite, other than when Sue was a little baby, this is very cute. She was waddling around in her old diaper, and we have a video of this. Jeffa, come here. I want to tell you something.
Jennifer's a tough
That's
word,
one of my
guys.
favorites.
Love
That's one of
syllables.
Just had to cut it down to Jeffa.
But the best one, this one's iconic and you know it, but I have to say, kids, don't try this at home. Specifically, my kids, do not try this at home.
Yeah.
I was about I must have been 13 or 14, which would have made Sue 8 or 9. And when Sue was little, I was like a lazy teen. I'd be in my room and I'd want her to I'd want her to get me stuff. I'd be like, Sue, get me this, get me that. And as all older siblings know, the best way to get your younger sibling to do something is to make it a competition. So I'd be like, Sue, can you get me this? I'll time you. And Sue Bird would go as fast as she could to get me whatever I want. And little did I know, by the way, like she was super fast. This is like a world-class professional athlete.
You were getting that soda in like 3.5
This was
seconds.
quality service.
Oh,
So
yeah.
one day I'm like, Sue, get me a Diet Coke. I'll time you. She comes back lightning fast. And by the way, you're welcome. This is probably why you're such a great athlete. Had this gone on longer, you would have been even faster.
I'm already basking in my own glow. Keep
But
going.
I get the drink. I take a sip and I was like, immediately. I was like, what is in this? She had put soap in my
Never
soda.
timed me again.
And I never
Wow, you
timed
figured it out.
Yeah, I was onto this bitch.
Oh, wow.
it.
Ran down there,
Damn.
squirted
But
a
don't
little.
do that at home, kids.
Put a little soap in there.
Wow.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was a good one.
Good one.
good one.
All right. So you both got
That
each
solved
other.
that.
Both got each other.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that story. That's one of my personal favorites as well.
That's a good one.
Too bad I didn't get to tell any. Maybe next time. All right, we
Oh,
have a
yeah.
very special edition of You Meme So Much. You have
Aw.
dusted off some amazing childhood picks for us. We're going to show them, and then the two of us, me and you, Jen, are going to tell us what's going on. All right.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see.
What is going on in this
That's
one?
why I thought you were interested. Oh,
I love this.
honestly,
one.
you tell me, because I was clearly just there for, I was just along for the ride.
It's in a Western thing.
All I
here.
know is that this is perhaps the the best photo of me ever taken. I
Yeah.
think I literally am like, this is it. This is my best photo for my entire life.
It might be.
That's it. I'm done.
You're
my
done.
expression, my hair. What
You
is
look
it?
like
My
a Gerber baby too. You got the
kudos
little,
to my
like-
mom with the
I know.
hair.
I
How did
know.
she get those waves?
Who
knows?
Perfectly waved and
The beret
cropped and-
is
The
perfectly-
outfit.
You've
the
got a
outfit.
brooch.
What is the outfit?
Those
and
are
then
zip up
Sue-
leather boots.
No. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
those
I
are riding
did not
boots.
even see. I mean, literally, best picture of my life. And
Amazing.
Sue is adorable in this photo.
Twinkle, twinkle, baby.
So cute. I
She's
think I'm
cute.
feeling lucky to have this
How'd
adorable
they get
little
me to
sister.
smile? I can only imagine who's behind there doing
I like
some weird
poking him.
shit. Where I'm like, look at this guy.
Maybe I was
Look at this
poking
guy. That's what my face says. What's this guy doing?
What's
What's this guy doing?
Who's this guy? All right,
Okay.
next
Oh
one.
God.
Oh, this is my
Ah,
favorite
I do love this one.
picture. It's just LOL to me.
I do like purple.
Bangs must
Purple.
have been in because you both have matching.
Oh,
You've
yeah.
got a matching haircut, just
Yeah.
different color hair.
The bowl cuts.
Yep, it's like bowl to the longer situation.
Yep. I think
Yeah.
that was like
I loved
yeah.
Snoopy. I loved those Snoopies.
I know.
I love
I
that I have
know.
white tights on. You've got the overalls.
The purple.
Your
I was
teeth are
into the
coming in.
purple.
Your teeth are
That's
coming
when
in.
I look at that photo, I just think teeth.
Your teeth are coming in. They're
They
coming
are
in a lot of these.
Teeth.
Teeth are in. The Snoopies.
I love. We
Yeah.
took many Sears photos. This is like that was,
Yeah,
that was
kudos
two
to
of
Mom,
like
right?
4 or 5 of them. Yeah.
Biannually, of course.
Yeah, the background,
Yeah.
a little fall day.
The matching corduroy.
In a
So
million
good.
years, I can't even get my kids to dress like at all for anything, let
No.
alone like a staged
Matching.
photo.
Yeah.
Matching. That's pretty impressive, actually.
Okay.
So yeah.
Oh, there she is. Nursery school Sue.
Little
Clearly
Susie
growing out the bowl
Bird.
cut.
Susie
The same bowl
Bird.
cut you were just speaking of.
Who painted her nails fire red?
Oh, see you with the details. I
You didn't
did
notice
not
that?
even notice.
Oh, my eyes went there
No.
immediately.
Going.
She
Can I
is
say
a-
something?
I bet Mom
I
did
like
that.
kind of remember this picture.
Really?
You
Yeah,
do? She's
kind
so
of.
cute.
You're cute. Look at your cheeks.
I know.
I know.
They kind of are the same, your little cheeks.
That's the last time I painted my nails red, guys.
yeah.
The one and
No.
Who
only.
did that? I
Yes.
bet Mom did that.
Yeah, Mom definitely did
Those
that.
look well done.
Yeah. She got me ready for picture day. I loved that sweatshirt.
I can't wait for this next one.
Back to the teeth.
Oh God! I just was going to say that's all I could say. And the squinting. I think this is right around the time I got glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I feel like your eyes
like
are
my
getting
vision went.
progressively worse as you got older.
That's the squinty look. That's what every other photo looks like for the rest
Yeah.
of my life.
Yeah.
By the way, looks dead on like Zoe. This is
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
could
is
just
carbon.
transplant
know.
one for another, carbon
I
copies.
know.
So
I
just again,
know.
thrilled to be there.
I just
Look
look
at
the
you in your
same
little
always.
dresses.
I've looked the same always.
It's your hair.
So
Your
You
hair
look
is
the
just
same all the way
so-
too. What do you mean my hair is straight?
No,
Uh,
but it's like it's always nice.
I know
your
Mom
hair-
did a good job. Shout out to Mom.
Ugh,
The
I love it.
grooming,
I
the
agree.
grooming in these pictures is
I-
immaculate.
It's
Amazing.
unbelievable.
Always
great
with like
grooming.
a little bib. You got those were really popular back then, those bib things. I wore those too.
Yeah, like the overall stuff.
Oh my God, I love Oshkosh
Gosh,
Bagosh.
poof.
Yeah, you're right.
Good
We all.
stuff.
I literally have overalls on
So
every
cute.
picture.
So.
I love a good memory lane.
Especially siblings
I
edition.
love a good memory lane. I know. Next
I
time
know,
we'll
now I
have
have to see
to.
Rachel.
We'll have you
Yeah.
back on. We'll
yeah.
get some pictures where you've got your glasses on. Those were the good years.
These are much cooler.
You
and
Those
my
glasses.
braces.
that were this big.
Curly
Your
hair.
glasses were so
So
funny.
cute.
Oh yeah, you got a perm.
Yeah.
The thing
I
about
thought
Jen
I
and
was
her
like the coolest.
with the perm.
But all of it.
Yeah,
Yeah. You were.
you were.
If you think
I
you're
was
cool when you're
rocking
young,
it.
you are cool.
That's true. Actually, that is 100% true.
Yeah. If
Yep.
you think you're cool, you're cool.
That's all that matters.
Period. Point blank.
I'll make them up.
Yeah.
It's all one big make 'em
Yeah.
up. Well, thank you so much, Jen. This is a
Thank
pleasure.
you guys. This is
We're
super
just
fun.
Well, I'm just so proud of you and everything you're doing. Thank you for sharing
Back
in
at
this.
you.
This is great.
Both of you.
This is your first, but not your last appearance on a
Amazing.
On a
touch
touch
more.
more.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you. Bye.
And that's it for our episode. We will see you next week.